Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. It's a much better day than the day started off. I am excited to be recording today. I just got off a call with my mentor. So definitely feeling much better, having worked through some things, talked through some things, and really just excited about these podcasts. You know, if you've listened to me, my mood shifts almost instantly the second that I hit record because I just love podcasts. And I love being able to share this stuff on YouTube as well. So today's topic, I'm excited for today's topic. So we're going to talk about the difference between arrogance and confidence. And there's several reasons as to why I want to talk about this today, but the important thing here is that oftentimes many of us do struggle with confidence. And we struggle with confidence because we don't want to come off as being arrogant. But just as a disclosure, to just set the tone here, you have zero say in how somebody else perceives you. You cannot control it. And so you can't control if your confidence is coming off as arrogant. Okay. However, you can control as to whether or not you are confident versus arrogant. So let's first start off by defining what these mean. So confidence is thinking highly of yourself. Arrogance is thinking that you're better than other people. Okay. So there's a difference there for sure, right? So thinking highly of yourself is confidence, right? It has no impact on anybody else. Arrogance is that you're better than somebody else. And you know, we've all experienced this where somebody who is arrogant walks into the room and the whole mood changes. You can literally feel the arrogance coming off of them, right? Whereas someone who walks in and exudes confidence, it's a very different energy. It's an inviting energy. Arrogance is very closed off. You don't want zero things to do with that, right? And so how do we begin to develop our confidence without the arrogance coming through? Again, just be mindful you can't control how somebody perceives you, okay? So we're not going to try to convince somebody that you're confident instead of arrogant, right? That's their own filter making you arrogant. And the reason I'm bringing this up is there was a post in a Facebook group that I am in. There was a post the other day, and my initial response to this post was this woman was being really arrogant. She was listing her accomplishments, and to me it came off as really arrogant. However, it came off as really arrogant because I was feeling crappy about myself at the time that I read the post. And when I checked myself and I realized that this was actually what was happening, the confidence in her post was really encouraging. So while she was talking about the things that she's able to do and the work that she does with her clients, and it sounded like she was just kind of bragging on herself, it was actually an encouraging post when you looked at the confidence coming through. It's annoying if you look at it from an arrogance lens, right? You're like, who the fuck do you think you are, right? Like, you're not better than anybody else kind of a thing, right? However, I then looked at it from a confidence lens and I was like, ooh, that's really good. I appreciate that. And so when it comes to building your own confidence, they have to be internal things. You've heard me talk about this confidence list repeatedly, and it has to be something that is internal. Confidence comes from within, not from a list of accolades without, right? External accolades are not going to get you the confidence. They may help, right? But the confidence actually starts with you. And when you are going through that, I want to articulate this because this is something that I've noticed my oldest daughter struggling with. So she is a really, really great soccer player, but her lack of confidence takes her out. And when you look at that with my other daughter, who's 9. She has the confidence on the soccer field, and she shows up very differently than my 14-year-old, who struggles with the confidence on the soccer field. Now, this may be the age thing. There's a lot of different factors that happen here, right? Coaching factors, environmental factors, all the things, right? But it's a very different energy. And so how do you cultivate that confidence so that it doesn't become arrogant, right? And one of my mentors, she says this beautifully. She says, equal but different, right? So when they're on the soccer field, right, they have great skills, equal but different, equal but different. And the confidence is important for a number of reasons, because it changes how you show up in the world. And if you think of anything, right, think of something that you know you can do with your eyes closed, right? You're like, I got this, super easy, right? And then something that you're not so confident about, there's a very different energy behind it. You may hesitate a little bit more. You may second guess yourself a little bit more, but you're like, you know what? When you're confident, you're confident. And so how do you begin to build that in a way that it's not arrogant? One, you don't need to compare yourself. Your confidence should have zero to do with somebody else. Okay? The other thing here is your confidence is something that you choose to wear, right? It's essentially that great pair of pants, right? I've talked about this before, especially when it comes to business strategy, but like we all have that outfit that we love, and we're like, oh yeah, like you do your laundry, you like save it for that day of the week because you're like, I want to feel really great in that outfit for that day of the week, that you will literally change the rest of your outfits based off of what day you want to wear that outfit. I know I'm not the only one, okay? Or your favorite pair of jeans, right? You're like, I can't wear these jeans today because I want to save them for date night on Friday. Or, I can't wear this yet because it won't be clean by that date, right? Like, you know, there are those outfits that you feel so good in. It's something that you put on, right? Confidence is the thing. You put it on like you put on a pair of pants. You choose to be confident in that moment. But if you are struggling with confidence in general, then it's time to look at that exercise I call the confidence list, where it's a list of 30 plus reasons that you're good at what you do, right? So I just did this recently because I needed a refresher. My ego was getting the best of me and I was spiraling. And so I wrote down and I did my own confidence list. And the very first thing on my confidence list is I am resourceful. If I don't know how to solve something, or I don't know an answer for a client, you can bet your butt that I'm going to find it. I know a lot of people, and that's not an arrogant kind of a thing, but it's like, I know who I can ask to answer this question, right? If I don't know the answer, I know somebody who does know an answer, or that person who knows somebody who knows an answer, right? And I'm not afraid to reach out and be like, hey, I was working on this thing and I can't seem to figure it out. Like, do you have a solution? Is there something that I'm like missing? Can you give me a different perspective here, right? So the very first thing on that list, I'm resourceful. I know I am. Okay. Another thing, I'm really great at asking the hard questions. And in a way that activates people, right? There's a reason that my podcast is called Cutting Through the Bullshit. When I get on a call with private clients, or with any client, right, I can see very quickly what is limiting them. And I will go straight for it. I really don't beat around the bush, very straightforward, and I do it in a kind, loving way, where I just cause them to question. And I love it, right? I love being able to get somebody to think or feel differently, because that's life-changing. When you can change the way that somebody thinks or feels, that is a catalyst for a life being changed. And it's so fun. so fun when that happens, right? And so that is part of my confidence list. Those are a couple of things on the confidence list. When I am not feeling confident, when my ego has gotten the best of me and I feel like I'm a failure and I've started to go do that downward slide, right? I'll catch myself and I pull up that list. Okay, here are reasons that I can be confident. Confident is thinking highly of myself, not thinking that I'm better than other people. There are people that I resort to. One of those things, I'm resourceful. There are people that I resort to, like, oh, so-and-so, she knows this stuff. Or, oh, he'll know the answer to that, right? Like, I don't think I'm better than those people. This is actually a conversation that I've had with my kids before, because I do have several degrees. My husband does not. And I remember years ago, my kids needed help with homework or something, and they made a comment about how mom was smart and dad wasn't. And I stopped them in their tracks. And I said, no. This is not a conversation about mom being smarter than dad. Okay? Mom may know more about this subject than dad does, but dad knows a whole lot more about these subjects than mom does. Right? So prime example, and this is the example I used for my kids. I said, you know what? I know a whole lot more about grammar mechanics than your father does. But your father knows a hell of a lot more about power tools and how to build stuff than I do. Equal but different, right? So it wasn't about me being arrogant and saying, yes, I can help my kid with this math problem, right? It was, yeah, I can help you, but just remember your dad can help you with these other things. And I don't know if my husband remembers that conversation. I should probably ask him. Might be an interesting topic to have, right? But it's about this course correction with my kids. Like, I want them to know there are people that aren't going to see the same thing that you see. I'm going off on a rabbit trail. I'm going to rein it back in here. So when it comes to confidence versus arrogance, there is going to be a fear that you may come off as arrogant. That's not your job to determine. You have no control over that. However, when you are creating content, when you are sharing your stuff out in the world, it is important that you have the intention of being confident versus arrogant in something. Okay? This stems from a long line of beliefs as a child that if you were too good at something, you were arrogant. And nobody loves an arrogant person, right? And so how can you show up in a way that is loving towards yourself with confidence? Put it on. Try it out. See how it feels. Do that confidence list. It is, again, the confidence list is 30 things that you are great at. I don't care if you're like, I'm really awesome at washing dishes. That's cool. I love that for you. Or if you're really great at strategizing, awesome, right? That's also my plan. I am incredibly efficient with my time. I am really great at time management. And that's not arrogant. It's a fact. I am really great at it. And I can see through other people's bullshit. Also really great at that, right? Not arrogant, confident. I know I can do this thing. It doesn't make me better than anybody. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm sending you so much love. And just to let you know, I do have spots available for private clients. There are a couple of different tiers in which you can work with me. One is Voxer access only. I work with all of my clients for 6 months. 6 months because we do deep, life-changing work. Does it take 6 months to get results? No. My clients usually see shifts very, very quickly. But I do work together because I want to make sure that those shifts are in place and they are happening, right? Not just a temporary shift. I want something that's going to be more long-term, which is why I support them. Because it's easy to do something for 21 days, a little bit harder to stick with it for 6 months. So I do work with my clients together for 6 months. Again, a couple of tiers. One, Voxer support only. That starts with a initial planning call where we do some strategizing. We get very clear on your vision, and then I will support you throughout that through Voxer. We can add in calls as needed. And then the second tier there is 1 call per month plus Voxer support. And that is also an option. I do love both of those. So it's really up to what you would prefer. And I do have spots available for that. So if you do have questions, you're interested in working with me, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you do have any questions about this podcast, or if it challenged you a little bit, you learned something, I would love for you to share that either in the comments or share it on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you found me. And you can always head over to my website at stephaniesnyderphd.com. All of my links are there. And as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye, love.